Welcome to the INFOWARS Nightly News. I'm your host, Jakari Jackson. It's May 22nd, 2015. Let's get straight into our news tonight. Yesterday, we had a chance to go out and have a protest, a rally at a Planned Parenthood here in South Austin. And the issue about this was we wanted to bring attention to the Black Lives Matter movement, not to take it away from the police brutality, because we definitely know that is a very large issue in this country, not just to blacks, but to all races as well. What other races? Well, there's a white guy named Kelly Thomas who got beat to death by police in Los Angeles, or at least someplace in California. It didn't make the news cycle much, even though they beat him to death over the course of 20 minutes on camera and nobody went to prison. But to expand beyond that, we said, why just cap it with the actions of police? How about we expand it out to something else that's another huge issue in the black community, something of the name of abortion. So we went out there trying to educate people about the history of Planned Parenthood and also Margaret Sanger, its founder. And we were greeted, in a sense, by a group of communists, even though it's somehow politically incorrect to call somebody a communist, even though they have a communist Facebook page where they're walking around with hammers and sickles and they have tattoos of Stalin and Lenin, but I guess that doesn't make you a communist. But now we see this. Communists call for Red Terror murder campaign to exterminate America's middle class. And this was evidenced by one of the comments by one of the young ladies who were out there, who told David Knight's wife, a very lovely lady who I'm sure just goes home and bakes cookies and is a very personal human being. She said, your white middle class agenda will not stand and we have to get rid of you. You will be destroyed in the middle class. Now, do I think this young girl personally is going to go out and kill people? No, but we can see this being echoed with this article here. Their true intentions of the Communist Party in general, not this group in particular. And it says the communist group advocated for the death of the bourgeoisie middle-class Americans as part of a Red Terror murder campaign, raising concerns over the possibility of politically motivated violence this summer as communists are increasingly leading anti-police protests across the country. Now, once again, I'll be the first person to tell you if the police are doing something wrong, whether it be here in the city of Austin or someplace else. But I don't think killing police is the answer. You know, you can't just go out there and shoot somebody just because they have a badge and the gun, especially if for some reason you don't think they're going to shoot back at you. It's a very silly ideal indeed. And also, if you go to the article, we have a picture of the tarp, the litter they left on the lawn. So just everybody at Planned Parenthood who had to go out there and clean up the trash of this group, be aware that is not our tarp. We left that there because we didn't want to pick up after them. We took a piece for evidence. And they also left their Wendy's trash out there. So everybody at Planned Parenthood, that wasn't us. We cleaned up our garbage, but the true garbage was out there trying to cover people's signs with tarps. Now let's talk about this. Conspiracy theorists are causing militants to abandon ISIS. A report in the official propaganda magazine of ISIS this month bemoans the fact that the terror group is losing members because of so-called conspiracy theories that Western intelligence manipulates and controls extremists for its own agenda. Well, just in case you haven't seen movies like Charlie Wilson's War, which isn't the most historically accurate movie ever made, but it gets in the broad strokes kind of how these guys came about. Think about Reagan, who I believe said the Mujahideen has as much integrity as our founding fathers. Mrs. Clinton saying that we created the Mujahideen, the airdrop grenades that we send to groups like ISIS, all the military equipment that ISIS gets, and of course, the troops coming out with the hashtag I did not join campaign saying that I'm not going to fight along ISIS on Monday, then be their best friends on Friday. So these are the type of things were going on. You can go research all this stuff that we've put out over the last several years here at INFOWARS and see how connected these guys are at the hip to the military apparatus and also to the CIA. So they're saying that when the news gets out, I guess over there, that they're pretty much backed by Western governments to an extent. Not everybody in the government is in on it, but enough people are to keep these guys funded and being the scapegoat of sorts by arming them with the tools they need to fight not only military, but also innocent civilians in their wake. Now let's talk about the FBI now, because you would think with all the intelligence that the FBI has, they would be able to go down and crack groups like ISIS. But they had to come to Joe Biggs. When Joe Biggs went down to Mexico, they said, hey, Biggs, what'd you find down there? We can't go down there and investigate ourselves. So they had to come to us to find out what we know. And I'm not knocking the FBI. They've done some very questionable things that I'm not happy about. But I think the majority of people in the federal organizations and the military and your police departments are decent human beings, but enough people are doing enough bad stuff and getting away with it. It makes the entire organizations look bad. But now we see the FBI admits that no major cases have been cracked with the U.S. Patriot Act. So you guys recall the Patriot Act. Bush rammed this through. He said, hey, we need to be able to spy on you all the time in all manner of ways, whether it be your cell phone, your computer, whatever else, to track down these dirty terrorists, the terrorists that we are funding, as we just talked about in this past article. And even with this, the FBI admits that they have no major plots that have been foiled by this dragnet surveillance. They have plenty of naked selfies and sexting conversations and all that stuff. You guys know this. And even if you don't think the government's in on it, just think about how they hacked into the phones of Kate Upton and all these other starlets, and you think somebody at the NSA can't do the same thing? Then if you believe that I have some oceanfront property back in Oklahoma and from my front porch, you can indeed see the sea. And we'll end tonight with this before we go into more special reports. Video. Man holds alleged carjacker at gunpoint until cops arrive.
Just stay there and wait for the police. It's that simple. You trying to rob today?
I wasn't trying to rob.
You weren't trying to rob me. You just get in random people's cars, huh?
No, I thought you were my friend.
You thought I was your friend. You thought I was your friend, so you woke up stupid this morning.
Sorry, I'm telling you to stay.
We're doing it. Thank you for being out.
And that's it for this segment, but stay tuned. We have more special reports, and also David Knight is going to be in studio talking about a trade agreement they're trying to ram through this Memorial weekend. Stay tuned. This is the INFOWARS Nightly News.
Because we're bound, hard to relay how much hate can be found. But here's the whole truth. I know the root is eugenics, and the goal is to clean the gene pool. Before the Nazis came, there lived an evil woman, and her name was Margaret Sanger. Had a heart full of anger. She was a beast who lied to the least of us. She deserves to have a millstone tied around her neck. And now I believe that all Black lives matter. All Black lives matter. I believe that all Black lives matter. All Black lives matter. Throwback goes out to Obama. 2008, now everything's great. Got a black president with whom we relate. He's like a good friend who can fund abortions. Obama cares, but not enough to admit that black babes got it rough. Before Chilsang schism, there was a policy called cultural Marxism. They blame society but never hate the state is forgiven, but only by the living. God will judge people who lost their kids through the fire. Now I believe that all Black lives matter. All Black lives matter. And I believe that all Black lives matter. All Black lives matter. I'm Sam Montoya from San Marcos.
San Marcos, I love San Marcos.
Right on.
Love the river.
Hey, we're big fans of Alex Jones show
Well,
down there.
thanks for writing that. We'll put this up.
Hey, thanks.
We'll put it up on YouTube tonight.
Awesome.
Definitely, yeah. We'll
All
put
right.
it on the channel. Is that cool?
Yeah, sounds
All right.
great.
So, where can people find out more about your work or whatever? Like,
I have a guitar. That's my work. I don't have a website. I don't have a YouTube channel. But I'm a crazy fan of Alex Jones. So just, if I can say anything, go out there and do what you can, and let's fight the New World Order.
There you go. All right, thanks. Yeah.
Bro.
That was cool.
All of you out here are simply amazing. God bless you. I'm here at Camp Swift right outside of Bastrop, Texas, where starting July 15th through September 15th with members of U.S. Army Special Operations Command and service members from the military's 4 branches, an exercise that has never been done will take place. Among some of the planned exercises will include soldiers moving undetected amongst the civilian population. Roy Boyd, Chief Deputy with the Victoria County Sheriff's Office, said they're going to set up cells of people and test how well they're able to move around without getting noticed in the community. Can't they already move around the community? They are Americans, right? The Third Amendment of the Bill of Rights states, "No soldier shall in time of peace be quartered in any house, without the consent of the owner, nor in time of war, but in a manner to be prescribed by law." Ambiguous under these conditions? Maybe. But how are we to know if they are soldiers if they are moving undetected, possibly into our homes? The Fourth Amendment states the right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated, and no warrants shall issue but upon probable cause, support by oath or affirmation, and particularly describing the place to be searched and the persons or things to be seized. There is more at play here, as the Jade Helm playbook, Master the Human Domain, intends to collect information on who you are, what you do, who you know, and enter you into a demographic to be analyzed. Dissidents will be dealt with. Sound a little extreme? The 2006 U.S. Military Police Training Manual targets civil disturbance operations within the United States, and Army Manual FM 3-39.40 internment and resettlement operations details the overall need for PSYOP officers and prison camps that will be used if the plan is implemented. But let's be clear, this is a blatant PSYOP, not a martial law takeover. We at INFOWARS are trying to make you aware of. There's a big difference. The massive population of the U.S. must first be conditioned before the next phase rolls out. And the hostile areas, according to Jade Helm, must first be put in a chokehold by a corporocratic government that can no longer and will no longer sustain the pursuit of happiness of its subjects. Most people I spoke with were unaware and trusting of a government dominated by foreign banks and eroding trust.
Well, I have a hunch that that may not be completely true.
Yeah.
They may be trying to blend in, but they're, I still think it's military training. It's 12 o'clock.
Is any of that ring, or is it
Not really.
not concerned?
No. I mean, they can bring people in here and stuff, but if they're, I don't know, I am fine with the,
Full trust in the government?
yeah.
Others, not so much.
I may not agree with everything that the governor does, but I appreciate either one,
Yeah.
Perry or Abbott.
Yeah.
But I appreciate them standing up for Texans and their rights, because unfortunately too many people don't realize about the 9th and 10th Amendment.
You know the history of the war and how it really started? With the shooting of the boat out in the, it was wrong from the beginning. All the wars since then have been for something not about protecting people in our country. There's nobody invading us. It's about money and oil and stuff like that. I don't know. The industrial military complex has gotten way out of hand to me. Eisenhower said it a long time ago.
In the councils of government, we must guard against the acquisition of unwarranted influence, whether sought or unsought, by the military-industrial complex. We must never let the weight of this combination endanger our liberties or democratic process.
From Camp Swift in Bastrop, Texas, I'm John Bound for INFOWARS.com.
A trade agreement, something that's very important that affects us not just here in the States, but also people all around the world. And now we see they're trying to ram this thing through on the midnight hour on a holiday weekend of all things, similar to what we saw with Obama and the National Defense Authorization Act. Now they're coming out again with the TPA. And for more on this, we have David Knight. David Knight, what's going on with this TPA agreement?
Well, of course, you're right, Jakari. They did this with the establishment of the Federal Reserve on Christmas when most of the people were gone. Obama did it with the NDAA on a New Year's Eve, put this thing through. Today, Mitch McConnell came out and told the Senate, you are not going to go home until you pass this trade agreement and reauthorization of the FISA Act in terms of what they want to do with dragnet surveillance. So he laid that ultimatum out there for them.
I hope we'll have an update from the bill managers here shortly. But I want to remind everybody